welcome to the journey of an entrepreneur, where we'll explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between on the path to entrepreneurial success. I'll be your host, Ryan Batts. Join us as we dive into real-life stories, discuss parallels between business and personal growth, and tackle topics ranging from fitness, family, and just balancing it all together. Whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur or just looking for some inspiration, this podcast is your go-to guide for navigating the journey. Let's embark on this adventure together. Hello, I'm Ryan Batts, and welcome to Journey of an Entrepreneur. And I have a very special guest today. We have Dave Bunt with Backwoods Junk Removal, based out of Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. Dave, welcome on.
Hey, Ryan, how's it going?
It's going well, buddy. It's going well. All right, Dave, a little curveball. Before we even get started, we're going to do a little icebreaker. I think these few questions that I have lined up truly tells a person without even officially meeting them. So they're fun questions, but again, it's the true tell of an individual. Yep. All right, you ready?
Yep.
And I want not much thought, just what comes to the brain. It's as soon as I ask. All right, here we go. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Boom. Walmart brand peanut butter swirl.
It's a lot to unpack there, but yep.
It doesn't.
All right,
that. $2.87.
All right. If your choice to have, you going to the beach or the mountains?
Mountains.
All right. Favorite movie?
I'm a car guy, so they usually revolve around that. Like, there's three that come to the top of mind. You got Gone in 60 Seconds, the newer version that we probably all seen, and then there's an original where it has and I think it was with a '73 Mustang instead of the Eleanor that we typically know of, or Dazed and Confused. That's got my dream car in it, 1970 Chevelle 454.
Anything related with cars? I like it.
Yeah.
All right, and last but not least, your go-to karaoke song.
It's going to be You Never Call Me By My Name by David Allan Coe. And typically involves a duet with my father-in-law.
Oh, nice. Good bonding moment.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. I have asked the same questions, not the exact same question, but that question to a coworker or a worker of mine, employee, and that was his exact answer.
Really?
Yeah. I know. And he's 19, which is funny.
It's a classic.
Yeah, it is a classic. Awesome, Dave. Well, thanks for coming on. I know we've talked about it. Just to kind of give you a background, I met Dave at CrossFit Shoe Fly, and it kind of felt effortless. Dave, I can kind of remember meeting you, didn't really know you, and you helped me move some weights. Hadn't even really spoken much to you. So I was like, man, this is a stand-up guy. I was like, this is a guy I'd like to get to know a little bit better. I'd seen your signs. That's kind of, I knew I connected the two. Backwoods Junk Removal, Dave Bunt. But I met you through there, knew you're a stand-up guy. I've gotten to meet you more throughout the months and even years now as we've gotten to talk a little bit, deeper about all kinds of things, business, family, life, things of that such. I guess I should start off, just kind of tell everybody, I know some of your story, but kind of just give a background of you co-own Backwoods Junk Removal. Let's start from the beginning of how did this journey start?
All right, so I worked rotating shift work years ago. I worked at the Sharon Harris plant, and you get some time off and you get bored, so you just kind of do things to fill that void, and at that particular age, in the mid-30s, it was like looking for entrepreneurial kind of stuff. Did a bunch of little things here and there. I was on parental leave with one of our sons, Jameson, and I remember, for whatever reason, I was sitting in the recliner holding him. He's about 8 weeks old, and I just happened to see J-Dog franchise advertisement So I started going down that rabbit hole like we normally do. And sure enough, I called them up. They told you how everything goes, the pay schedule. They give you the training. And it was really the franchise fees where I was like, man, that is a lot of money. And I'm pretty sure I can do this on my own. So kind of came up with a name. Backwoods is a nickname I was given with some folks I worked out with CrossFit wise with CrossFit South Wake probably 10 years ago. And that just kind of stuck, come up with a name that has what you do in it, Backwoods Junk Removal. And over the years, just kind of kept on building up. The numbers were kind of lining up. And I got a great friend of mine, co-owner Terrence Henry. Him and I worked together for many years, and we both had that entrepreneurial passion, and it just got to a point. It was like, hey, do you want to quit your job, partner up, and all junk? And I want somebody that was passionate about being an entrepreneur and all that as I did, and when we formulated our exit strategy, it really wasn't much to it. It was quit our job and just start going 100%. So he quit before I did. Here we are.
Nice. So it's August 20th, 2024. When did the idea initially start? I know you said, was it Jameson?
Yeah,
8 weeks? 8 weeks old? Yeah. So when was that phone call to the franchise?
That was probably December of 2018. After we got went through the franchise things, I was like, I could do this on my own. Came up with a name. When you start a business, you go to Harnett County, you got to register the name with the state, and that's pretty much it. If you look at it, it was, I think, December 27th, 2018. I went down to the courthouse, registered the name, and it started going from there. And then comes the research. What licenses do I need, insurance, and all those little different details.
Yeah, of course. I think a lot of guys, especially like you were saying, in their 30s, mid 30s, they're kind of, they've done the 9 to 5, they've worked for someone else, they're paying the bills, but there's always like a need for something else, like a need for the entrepreneur, just having your own rules, not answering to anybody, having the free time, or just whatever it may be. But there's something there to where you have that yearning to do something on your own. At what point, because this is the hard part, I think, were you like, okay, no more 9 to 5, no more corporate, I got to take that leap? Because I think that's the biggest thing for everyone. I know it was for me. It's like the safety net is no longer there. I'm on my own. This has got to work, or it's back to 9 to 5, which we don't want to do. So what made you make that leap? Was there any type of decision or pivotal moment that made that?
So, like, how this goes, where it's typically the people you surround yourself with. Because I remember you and I talking about, like, hey, when did you know it was time? And I just kind of told you, I was like, you look at the numbers and you're like, well, this is sustainable. Everything's going in the right direction. What we're doing is working. And then you have your peers who are, self-employed folks. My wife's a hairdresser. She's been self-employed pretty much her whole life, so she's familiar with the life. There was 2 guys, Adam Appel with Glass Ops. He's self-employed. He was kind of like a peer on there, coach. And then Miller Howerton with Daddy Bob's Barbecue. He's got he had a brick and mortar spot. He does events now. He's got his own sauce line. You probably see it in like Food Line and whatnot. But between those guys, they were like, hey, listen, if you got a good thing going, just be confident in yourself. And that's really what it takes. It's it's a huge leap, especially if you've never done any self-employment your whole life.
Yeah, for sure. I know for myself, I think we kind of parallel paths. We had that job to begin with. We were doing this as a side gig. this grew more than a side gig because the money started, coming in to where we felt a little more confident. I mean, I just think that that's a thing that people just need to, like you're saying, surround themselves with other individuals that have gone through this same path. That's kind of like another reason why I like having this podcast, because who knows who's out there, at the same decision making time and listen to this podcast, but like, you know what, let's go all in. It's time. And it wasn't easy for you. I have 2 kids and mortgage and bills, and you had kids and bills. It's just like,
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's ever an exactly right time. And I always compare it to, like, were you ready for that first kid? No, like you never had a kid before. You didn't know how to take care of them, but you got it done. And then the next one was easier. And, were you ready for that first mortgage payment? Maybe not, but you went in, it's just kind of a leap of faith. So I want to echo that again, because it does take encouragement. It's not easy. And sometimes I know I forget how much of a big decision that was. And it was hard to convince, my wife and others that it was a decision that needed to happen, because, I had a state pension that I was letting go of, and, benefits, things like that. So it was definitely a thought out decision, but something that you need to make sure you can talk to some other people that's been through it already, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, man, we'll talk a little bit. Go ahead.
I was going to say, when my wife has encouraged me to, she's like, you know what, go ahead and quit your job and then go for it, self-employment or whatever. And it was kind of funny, we built up to it. There was only 4 people that knew up until I put my 2 weeks in that knew I was going to quit. It was my wife, Terrence, of course, and then Terrence's wife, because those are pretty much the big the people that needed to know. And then when I finally turned my badge in and I came to the house and I was done, she's like, "Oh my God, you quit your job." And I was like, "Well, you're the one who told me to do it." It was just like it was a big step. But like you said, you just keep on grinding. You got to make it happen. So it's just, there is no better growth in your business than when you finally take that leap, and that's all that you have.
Yeah, for sure. There's no plan B. There's no safety net. You have to, all chips are on the table. So you gotta move forward, because if you fall, you'll fall, but like if you, what I'm saying, if you fall back, the bills don't get paid. All right. Awesome. So right now it's been how many years?
It's been 5.5, coming up on 6. And then I've been full-time for 2 years now.
Okay. So within those years, what would you say made y'all grow the fastest? What, if you could put a couple things into, seeing the level of growth that you have, would have been some things that have stood out?
So the service that you do may not have a whole lot of technical challenge to it, like removing junk. Folks, you just pretty much pick stuff up and put it in the back of the truck. There's a lot more to go with it, but the big piece of it comes down to marketing, and 2 things: consistency and then being humble. And what I mean being humble is not every idea is a great idea, and we look at that in a lot of like corporate America. Is one thing that I was frustrated with, and I'm sure state is the same way, where somebody comes up with an idea, they implement the idea, and then you could tell right out the gate it's not a great idea, but you hang on to it at the detriment of the organization and the outcome. So you consistently, we have a couple different things that marketing-wise have worked great for us, and then we have a whole bunch that did not. So one in particular for us that has not worked well is like door hangers. Going door to door, that's something that we gave it the honest try. Didn't get the return of investment based on the effort and the time and hours put into it. So, we just we'll rotate onto something else. Only change 1 or 2 things at a time, because if you change 5 and then something takes off big, or if it crashes, it's kind of hard to tell what happened. So
Yeah, marketing's huge. Where have y'all found with your marketing as?
you know how that goes. The old yard sale.
Oh man, I know. I feel like almost like my company, your company, around this, local area.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere we go, I see your signs everywhere. It's like, yeah, that's the point.
Well, we go
Do
and
you?
we went to so we use a local bank, and then so we got a representative. We open an account with them and all that kind of stuff. Swap everything over to a more local setting, and I get it's small and there's only like half a dozen branches in the area. But our branch guy, our representative, he was talking to one of the higher ups, and they're like, "Oh yeah, those sign guys, we see them." So it's just top of mind, and branding is all it comes down to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to understand with marketing, it's always top of mind. And when you're driving and see a Backwoods Junk Removal sign every 15 minutes down the road, it's just gonna, when you need something to be moved, it's like it just clicks.
Yeah.
Not only that, your branded trucks, and you're within the community. It's just a consistency, like you're saying. You're constantly seeing that you're consistently doing this daily. I think that's where a lot of people they kind of give things a try twice. That didn't work. Well, you didn't really give it the full go. You didn't actually see if it worked or not. Consistently doing stuff is gonna make the people dial the numbers, call in. What else, man? Let's see with the growth now. What's bottlenecking y'all right now? What do you think the next step with Backwoods?
We talk. We talk about with everybody at this particular time of year, and I don't know whether it's economic, but a lot of services have seen like a little unusual slump in revenue. So when there's a slump in revenue or jobs or whatever, that's where you go ahead and you start working on your marketing, your branding, your networking. And when you do that, you just get prepared for when things are going to boom. Do you have your things that can be automated, and are they quality? Have you tried them out, tested them? I went to BNI, and one of their recommendations was always have the capacity to double. Like if next month came along and then boom, something took off and calls and work doubled, can you take that, or do you got to send it to somebody else? So that's something that we're always keeping an eye on. Do we have the capacity to double our workload?
Got you. So where are you at now? How many trucks?
So we're still owner operator on the trucks. We have 2 trucks, and what we do is we do our best to run a 1-person truck. And so when we take our calls, we'll do our like our interview of our clients. When we get the job scheduled, we'll ask is there a piano in there or something, or a couch, and determine whether or not it's a single person job. When we're super busy, like say last year or May of this year where it was busy, what we'll do is we'll schedule single person jobs in the morning, and then we'll schedule those double up jobs in the afternoon, or vice versa. So
Gotcha.
Right now, that's kind of where we're at.
So what's the vision? What are we looking at? What's the future of Backwoods Junk?
The vision is ideally to have 6 trucks operating in the Raleigh area, and then there you go. Just be more of a managerial role and oversight role, and then just get the whole organization pretty much working on its own.
I like it. So what can we say with now? I know because I know you and I know what you represent, but when someone's calling Backwoods Junk Removal compared to the next junk removal, what should we expect? Where's the value at?
Well, first off, we make you smile. You're going to have a chuckle. We're a transitional business, so that means you need to folks call us when they're moving either to a house, from a house, they're having kids. Unfortunately, there's a death in the family. Things are overwhelming. I would say half to three quarters of the new clients that we get in that have never used junk removal, they have no idea how it works. So when you get us, you talk to either myself or Terrence. That's one of the last things that we intend on giving up control on is the phone call and onboarding of clients, because you have to have that empathy and compassion. And then right now, anyway, we're focused on customer service. So you have the easiest, most seamless time from when you give us a call, you ask questions, we listen, we offer advice. We've seen a whole lot of different scenarios over the years. There's a lot of ways you can reduce anxiety in the removal space. So everything from the first phone call to where you get your receipt, and we send you a link for a review. If you so choose to leave one, it's easy on you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I work with you, and it's easy as a quick text, and boom, here we are. You've taken care of me. And I know, and the reason I've always, promoted your company is just, I know you, and I always feel once you know the individual and what their character is and who they are, it's a reflection of what their company is going to be. So the honesty, the integrity, you're not going to, cheat anybody out of anything. You're going to be upfront with them. Is just another reason that I would highly recommend Backwoods Junk Removal. What area is this? We know Fuquay. What other area?
We've got a pretty big area. It's pretty much everywhere inside of 540. We also go down to Sanford, Lillington, Clayton. We do a bunch up in Pittsboro and Chatham County. We go up that way as well. We've been to Siler City, the southern part of Durham.
All right, let's end it with a couple of things. First, I want the most interesting junk removal story. PG-13. You can go R, maybe. I mean, slightly R. PG-13 to R of junk removal.
Well, I'll probably be the one where, there's only now 3 jobs that I've turned down. They were, and that wasn't due to, location, because some folks will call us, and it's outside of our service area. All 3 of them had to do with food material. There's 3 or 4 years ago, a lady had a deep freezer, and she opened the lid. It was full of black water. I got a strong stomach, got me in the gag reflex. There was unfortunately a lady earlier this summer. She had one of those chest freezers that's about 8 feet long, 3 feet wide, full of food, and they were on vacation, so it was thawed out for 2 weeks. And then a gentleman called me last week. I guess Walmart has a contract out there, and they have a 3-yard organic dumpster that requires you to shovel it clean. And from my peers, I've heard stories where when you do that kind of work, one, it's a I don't know if everybody else has ever had. It's a smell that you can taste. Bad. So,
well, compared to this, that smell when I drove up that hill to that landfill, and I can still smell worse than that.
Oh yeah, you can. There's been some smells you can taste.
Oh gosh, yes, I'm telling you that landfill. Never.
No, but I guess some cool things we found. Bandoliers from of rounds for the World War II era. A ceremonial sword from the 20s. That was kind of neat. I hung on to that. Just a little stuff here and there. We have a lot of folks that are collectors, one of the teachers at South Wake Academy. He's a camera guy. So when we find old cameras, Polaroids, we'll take those and give it to him.
That's awesome. Yeah, y'all are involved in the community a lot. I know before I even met you, I saw where there was a rock or something at a school. I don't know what it was. It had to be moved. I was like, man, these are stand-up guys. What else within?
That was the spirit rock for Herbert Akins Middle School that came in at 11,400 pounds. I measured all the rocks in southern Wake County, and I didn't want to be the guy that dropped off a small rock, so we made sure it was the biggest one. Some other things we do, we work a lot with military missions in action. They're at Fuquay. They do a lot for helping veterans. One of the things we do is we go ahead and drop off our dump trailer, and we have a dozen trash cans. So when they have events, we supply that for them. We do some trunk or treats around the area. When we do our donations, we do the smaller donation facilities like Guardian Angel in Fuquay and Apex. It's the Habitat Restore. Those folks there are awesome. Every time I see them and I drop stuff off, it's like they're happy as can be.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good feeling. So first piece of advice, it's the journey of an entrepreneur. Anyone that is in the stage of kind of where you were a couple years.
If you have an idea, just kind of go with it. It's overwhelming. Like I'm going to start a business. So immediately you think, you're a manager, you have 3 employees, truck, workers' comp, how do I do it, blah, blah, blah. Just go ahead and fill out the paperwork, assume a name, talk to an attorney, create an LLC. Just work on it, baby steps. It takes a lot of time, consistency. It's almost always going to be 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Talk to some folks that are business owners themselves. I'm sure Ryan wouldn't have a problem with anybody reaching out. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. You can text the Backwoods number, and I'll give you my personal number. It's really an awesome community. I was in nuclear power previous, and that's like a very small community. There's not a whole lot of folks that do it. And then once I got out of that into the small business world, it's just the same thing. It's just awesome people.
Yeah, for sure. What right now or during your time growing as an entrepreneur, do you have a podcast that you listen to a lot or a book that you would recommend?
In junk removal in particular, it's WTF, Willing to Fail. And that was by the gentleman that started 1-800-GOT-JUNK. That was probably one of the main reads that got me to quit my job and start doing this full time. That was a great one.
Awesome. Cool, brother. Well, want to give your shout outs for Facebook, Instagram, all that. I don't know your tags or what that is, but you can bounce.
It's all Backwoods Junk Removal. Just keep it simple.
Love it.
All Simplicity. The way around.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool, Dave. Well, I appreciate your time, man. If y'all ever need anything removed, say it like.
We remove everything commercial, residential. We just can't take hazardous waste. And then I always tell folks, if man made it, I can destroy it. I promise you that. We'll get it out of it.
Nice. Hey, Dave and the crew are good people. They'll take care of you. Great customer service. Give them a call. Raleigh, surrounding areas. But thanks, Dave. I appreciate your time, buddy. And all right.
Well, probably just later this morning. I got to pick up.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Dave's coming by to pick up. Brother, I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Later.